All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're tackling the notoriously dense, incredibly profound work of Martin Heidegger, and we're going to transform his ideas into a practical guide for living. Look, Heidegger is widely considered one of the most important philosophers of the 20th century, but yeah, also one of the most difficult. But don't worry, we aren't here to get bogged down in academic jargon. Instead, we're extracting the absolute core of his philosophy, using his very own words to build a roadmap for finding true, authentic meaning in our lives.
Right off the bat, Heidegger diagnoses the fundamental crisis of our modern age with this incredible paradox. Think about it. Despite all our technological advancements, and despite having access to literally all the information in the world right in our pockets, we are completely disconnected. We're constantly reacting, we're consuming, we're rushing around, but according to Heidegger, we aren't actually thinking. We're basically asleep at the wheel of our own existence. So how do we snap out of it? Well, Heidegger anchors us with what he calls the first of all questions. It's this recurring motif we have to ask to wake ourselves up from the sleepwalking of everyday life. And it's not just some theoretical puzzle for scientists either. It's a philosophical shock to the system. It's meant to make you step back and realize just how absolutely astonishing it is that anything, including you, exists at all.
Let's move into Section 1, the ultimate question and the foundation of existential dread.
So when and why does this massive, frankly intimidating question actually matter? The crucial thing to get here is that this isn't just academic trivia. This question hits us when the sense of things grows dark and we lose our way. As he points out, we don't usually sit around on a sunny Tuesday afternoon pondering the nature of nothingness, right? No, this fundamental question usually crashes into us in moments of great despair, when the everyday weight of things just kind of dwindles away. You know that heavy feeling of existential dread? Well, that's not a malfunction. According to Heidegger, that is actually your mind finally waking up to reality.
Which brings us to Section 2, Conformity versus Authentic Destiny, or Escaping the They.
When we do lose our way, we almost always fall into the trap of conformity. It's the tragedy of dissolving into the crowd. Heidegger calls this losing yourself in the public, where everyone is just a carbon copy of the other. The ultimate goal, though, it's to carve out your completely unique, singular identity. We all start out as this messy collection of societal influences and expectations, but the real work of a lifetime is refining that down so that you end up dying as a wholly authentic, single individual.
What this means for you, practically, is that while some aspects of your destiny are totally predetermined, like where you were born or the era you live in, the actual path you follow is entirely yours to choose. But here's the catch. You can only choose it if you flat out refuse to let your fears or the expectations of society set the boundaries of your destiny. You can't change your ultimate fate, but you absolutely must challenge it.
Let's look at Section 3, Facing the Reality of Death, the Path to Freedom.
Speaking of our ultimate fate, we have to face the most jarring but absolutely necessary step in finding our true selves. By directly facing our end, we instantly burn away life's trivial anxieties. Heidegger argues that the moment you truly internalize that your time here is finite, all the pettiness of life, the office politics, the superficial worries, the desperate need to impress strangers, it just evaporates. And only then are you actually free to finally be yourself.
It's a stark observation, for sure, but it reminds us that living authentically is a continuous, urgent, daily process. It's not something you can just put off for retirement. You are living out your mortality right now, second by second. And actually, scratch that thought that this is depressing. It's not. It's the ultimate motivator. It is the very fact of our mortality that gives our choices any actual weight or meaning whatsoever.
All right, on to Section 4, the trap of modern technology, the speed of nothingness.
If mortality is the key that frees us, modern technology is very much the cage that traps us. Heidegger wrote this decades ago, but honestly, it is spot on for today. It starts with our total technological and economic domination of the globe. That leads directly to our obsession with speed, where everything has to be instant and simultaneous. I mean, today you can read about a tragedy in France and watch a live concert in Tokyo at the exact same moment. But this constant frenzy ultimately leads to a terrifying void of purpose. A specter kind of looms over all this uproar, asking, what is it all for? Where are we actually going?
He argues that glorified reason, our total obsession with calculating, categorizing, and scientifically dominating the world is actually the biggest obstacle to true thinking. Calculating reason just wants to extract resources faster and faster. True thinking, on the other hand, requires deep, unhurried contemplation. It's essentially the difference between a machine just processing data and a human being actually experiencing wonder.
So, unlike the breathless, frantic speed of technology, true thinking means anchoring yourself to a singular, beautiful focus. Heidegger wants us to slow down so completely that a single, profound thought can illuminate our entire world, acting as a fixed navigational star in the sky of our lives.
Moving to Section 5, Language, Love, and Poetry, Revealing the Truth.
So how exactly do we practice this kind of deep thinking? Well, we turn to the elements of humanity that technology just cannot replicate. We arrogantly act as though we shape language, right? We treat it just as a tool to fire off texts or send emails. But Heidegger insists that language actually masters us. It shapes how we are fundamentally capable of perceiving the world. For him, there is no such thing as an empty word. The language we use dictates the reality we live in, which is why we really have to treat our words with immense reverence.
And alongside language, there's love. Pure love requires an unconditional faith in the other. It's the sweet, profound burden where you merge your fate with someone else's, changing yourself completely into that which you love. It's somehow maintaining your own unique existence. It expands our most intimate secrets and presents the other person in a revelation of absolute presence. It's just a beautiful contradiction.
Now, to truly experience this kind of profound love and language, we must practice phenomenology. Okay? Don't let the $10 words scare you away. It simply means stripping away all your biases, all your scientific measurements, all your daily assumptions, and just letting reality naturally reveal itself to you. It is the lost art of profound silent observation. It's entirely about listening before you try to understand.
Because they actually practice this deep listening. Heidegger believes that poets are in the vanguard of what he calls our destitute time. While the rest of us are completely distracted by speed and technology, the poet is out there attending to the traces of the fugitive gods. They use language not to calculate or sell something, but to reveal the holy, mysterious truth of existence that the rest of us have kind of forgotten.
And that brings us to our final stop, Section 6, The Shepherd of Being, Finding Our Place.
This is the climax of our whole journey today. This visually striking concept of the shepherd completely resolves the tension of our modern anxieties and our exhausting, endless need to dominate the globe. We aren't here to be conquerors. We are here to be shepherds.
We aren't meant to be the technological lords and masters of reality. Our job is much more profound and, honestly, much more humble. We are meant to be the caretakers. Think about it. We're the only creatures capable of asking why things exist in the first place. Therefore, our ultimate purpose is to lovingly listen to, appreciate, and protect existence itself.
Look, we've navigated some incredibly heavy ground today. And Heidegger himself humorously noted that philosophy isn't supposed to be easy or simplistic. If it reads like a simple 5-minute life hack, it's probably not touching the deepest truths of existence. True philosophy requires you to shoulder a burden, to travel to the outermost limits of what is possible, and to be entirely caught up in wonder.
So, now that we've mapped out the absolute core of his thought, the ultimate question remains for you. Are you going to let the frantic speed of the modern world dictate your life, just dissolving into the crowd? Or are you going to face your existence squarely, accept the burden of your own freedom, and step up to be the shepherd of your own holy, unique being? I'll leave you to think on that today.